As I say, it's a special edition of Coffee with Crimestoppers today, featuring the newly launched Volunteer Inspiration Hub. Now, the Volunteer Inspiration Hub, it hasn't arrived out of thin air. I didn't dream it up whilst walking along the beaches or in the valleys of South Wales. It's come from you, from the volunteers over the years. And with volunteer after volunteer from all parts of the UK telling me how wonderful it would be to know what other volunteer committees are doing across the UK, rather than having to start from scratch and then later on with any initiative of theirs, and then later on finding out that another committee elsewhere in a different part of the country has done the same in creating materials and so forth, that something could be created whereby there would be easy access for volunteers anywhere to know what other volunteers are doing of interest. And that's what the Volunteer Inspiration Hub came about. I mean, I can't make it a success, only you, the volunteers, can. We've made a great start, I would like to say that, with the sample examples we've got on there already. And so there's some terrific to be viewed. And I can't recommend highly enough that you take a look at that. But you all have some quality stuff, I'm sure, that we haven't yet seen or possibly know about. And I know a number of you on this call have things that you're perhaps out of modesty holding back. Well, get a little submission, and the form itself is only about a page and a bit. And so if you could get your submissions in, that would be fantastic. And we hope to hear from you in the coming weeks and months. Anyway, for this morning, the order of service will shortly be my great pleasure to invite our special guests to present to you. John Dobbin, who is the advisory board member for Yorkshire and Humberside, and Mike Johnson, who's our chair for Lincolnshire. Following John and Mike's presentations, Helen's going to take you, who's with me, beside me here, going to take you through a quick reminder, firstly, how easy it is to get on the hub, on the bubble, and secondly, quickly to how you might avail yourself of the brand centre to access templates and artwork and other resources, just to help you give you a local flavour of, to give a local flavour to some of your promotions and the like. So once all the presentations have been done, and I'm sure the guests will say this, ask questions if you wish as you go along. But we've got some time left at the end, and I hope we'd have about 20 minutes, quarter of an hour to do so. Then put your hand up, or your virtual hand up, or just wave at me, and I'll get to you in the end. Be patient with me, as there might be a few others queuing up. And we'll be wrapping up as near to 12 o'clock as we possibly can. If you need to leave before then don't worry, just go. Okay, well, it's my huge pleasure now to introduce firstly John Dobbin to have and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this very much. John, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Greg, and thanks to everybody for joining us. It's so nice to see so many happy, smiling faces out there from all across the regions. I just hope you're still smiling when I'm finished my chat. Anyway, I'd like to give you a brief overview of the Crimestoppers North Yorkshire Spring Fair, which was held in Thirsk last April, and which, of course, was submitted as our entry to the Inspiration Hub. However, before doing that, I'd like to stress our committee's belief that the key to the success of any project Oh, I've lost you, Greg.
Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, I'm still there. Sorry, my screen's gone dead.
All right.
Okay, sorry. I say before doing that, I'd like to stress that our committee's belief is that the key to the success of any project, event, or promotion is the complete involvement of the whole volunteer team. In fact, you'll be surprised at the hidden talents and skills which your teams have. Everyone has something to contribute, however small, and you'll be truly amazed at the synergy which you get from your team when they're in total discussion. All the involvement of all leads to a shared success, which is by far the best success. This, together with the ongoing encouragement from our fantastic regional manager, Gemma, who always gives us her full support, well, almost always, she does actually tend to crack the whip a bit when we go off limits. I'm fully aware that some of your committees are small in numbers, but only 4 years ago, the North Yorkshire Committee consisted of 2 of us. Oh, and a dog. So the objectives of our event were to increase awareness of the charity by creating a wide range of activities to attract both families and individuals to visit the fair from the surrounding areas. The planning for the event started in November 21 with a brainstorming session with our committee. During these sessions, all of our volunteers are invited to throw in ideas for discussion, and to quote Mark Iverson, our past chair, who always says, "There's no such thing as a silly idea." You know how true that is, and it's something we should all take on board. So the message is this: don't let shyness or anything else stop each and every one of you from making suggestions during your meetings. There is no such thing as a silly idea. During our initial meeting, we appointed a project manager and a working manager for the event for the day. And one of the first suggestions to be made by our group was that we should have a brass band. Now, I know what you're all thinking, that all you have to do in Yorkshire to attract a crowd is to get a brass band playing. But if only it was as easy as that. So our project began with all the volunteers participating fully in the organisation and planning of the event, so as to ensure their full support and commitment when conducting it. At this stage, I should remind you of the 3 Ps. Good planning plus good preparation equals good performance. Once again, good planning plus good preparation equals good performance. So, with all our volunteers now having specific roles, for example, one volunteer approached the church warden to ask for the use of the hall and the outside grounds for our stalls. One volunteer arranged with the local British Legion for them to provide the brass band playing background music. One volunteer undertook to provide the serving of refreshments in the church hall as a fundraising event, which was staffed by church volunteers, and we shared the proceeds with them. One volunteer undertook to approach the local council and local businesses for funding, which raised £750, which is enough to cover our costs for the whole event. One volunteer approached the local secondary school and sixth form college to invite their student music groups to play. And as you know, when children perform, you've got mums and dads and uncles and aunties and cousins and grandpas and grandmas all come down to join the crowd. One volunteer arranged with our local first aid society for them to give demonstrations of life-saving procedures and also to be on standby in case of need. One volunteer arranged for our local VIPs to attend, which were the local MP, the leader of the North Yorkshire County Council, Deputy Chief Constable of North Yorkshire Police, the head of local fire and rescue services, and a journalist from the local newspaper. One volunteer arranged for an on-site ice cream van, plus local merchants and individuals to man the stalls on our site. What worked exceptionally well was engaging the support of the council, schools, police forces, fire and rescue, and thus helping to develop good working relationships with them for future events. Also, the press release, which we wrote and gave to the invited journalist, was published fully, together with photographs, right across the front page of the local newspaper on the next edition, thus getting more publicity for Crimestoppers right across the region. So all in all, being self-funded, it was a really successful Crimestoppers awareness event. And what great fun for the volunteers, and to strengthen the continuing success and development of the North Yorkshire Committee. As a matter of interest, the stats of Crimestoppers incident reports to North Yorkshire Police usually show higher year-on-year increases than the national average, which indicates that we're probably doing something right. I'm not for one moment suggesting that these types of promotions and events are suitable for all regions, but they maybe give you some thought starters as to how they can be adapted to suit your needs. However, I do feel that it is essential to include all of your team in the brainstorming sessions when deciding what events to do, and get everyone in the planning, preparation and conducting of the event. Once you've decided what to do, don't be put up by snags, difficulties and setbacks. Just work around them. Remember, a pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. So finally, to summarize, what works in York may not work in Yeovil. One size never fits all. Do not try and reinvent the wheel. There's a massive ideas in that inspiration hub. Adapt them to suit your needs, or simply get inspiration from reading them. As that great statesman Nelson Mandela once said, it always looks impossible until it's done. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, John.
Greg, if there are any questions, I would say to the group, don't be shy. Remember the quotation, adapt it a wee bit. There's no such thing as a silly question.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that sentiment. And anybody who's shared a meeting with me knows that I fully subscribe to that view. Not in terms of what others say, but what I say, of course. So all questions I ask. So could I invite anyone with a question for John now on the presentation that he's just given, which is absolutely wonderful. John, thoroughly enjoyed that, and yeah, that was an amazing project or initiative that you ran up there, and I did so enjoy the photographs that went with it. It seemed to be a ball for everyone.
It was.
So,
Yeah, it was.
we've got a question there, and that's from Leanne.
I think that to answer your question, I don't really understand in your area, but I would imagine the council would be a very good place to start. And also, when you meet with council people or when you're making an inquiry, my suggestion would be that you tell them who you are and you tell them what the charity does, and you say that you're actually conducting a social services promotion because it is good for the community. And if you can get your councillors, like we've got now, a good working relationship with the North Yorkshire County Council. They listen to what we want to do, and they're very, very condescending with their help to us. Let's put it that way. So I would start with the council.
That's a great idea. I've got contacts with a local school. I used to be a governor.
Well,
I
excellent.
volunteer for mine.
There we are. Look at that. You're a
Thanks
star.
for the copper.
You should come to North Yorkshire. We need you.
I know the person that does all the in the council as well, that does the what is it, advertising the Norfolk. So
Yeah.
we start there then. Borough Council.
Absolutely, yeah. Send them
Right
send them some of our leaflets when you make the approach. We've
Yeah,
got
will
some
do.
fantastic background information. Use all the resources which are there already. I'm sure you've got stocks of these, or your regional manager will have.
I'm
Send them
going to
a couple
order
of,
some.
yeah, send them a couple of leaflets. This is who we are. You know, so they can, if they don't know who Crimestoppers are, they can quickly scan through, see who we are, and bingo, you're in.
Excellent. Just need some letterhead and I'll get on it.
Yeah, good luck with that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Leanne. Lynn, would you like to ask John a question?
Yes, please.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi, John.
This is going to be a toughie. I know you.
Yes, you know him.
Ask me something I don't know.
To be fair, I just want to take the opportunity to say John is an absolute inspiration, and to say a huge thank you, because without John, I wouldn't be even on Zoom, because it was John that got me sorted. So the words that come out of your mouth, John, really do help people right across the board, no matter who you are. And so I want to take the opportunity to say a huge thank you.
Lynn, that's very kind of you. You know, I can only respond and say, you can always tell a Yorkshireman, but you can't tell him much.
Well, very much. Thank you, John.
Thank you for that kind remark.
Roy, did you have a question too, before we move on?
Just to say, John keeps going on the Yorkshire side. As a Durham man working in Yorkshire and a Yorkshireman working in Durham, you say that a brass band is that for Yorkshire. What do we use in Durham for our shows?
Well,
Very good question.
thank you, Roy.
John,
John,
know the answer.
thank you, Roy. Thank you, John. That was wonderful. And I know that John and Mike, and this is what the Inspiration Hub is all about. But we've got Mike coming up now, and John too. And for the time I've spent with them, it's always been so enjoyable. It's always taking the mickey out of me at any opportunity they can. But I know they both subscribe to the philosophy that nobody wins unless everybody wins, and that's what we're all about. And so thank you, John, for that. And if I could pass across now to the baton to Mike, and the floor is yours, Mike.
Thank you, Greg. And firstly, can I just sort of thank everybody for tuning in today? It's like John says, it's good to see so many people involved. I want to hear about some of the good things that we've all done together, and that's what it is. So thank you very much for allowing the platform for Lincolnshire to put across what we've done. But like John said, it's not the chair. It's all about the committee. Everything that we've done in Lincolnshire has been around the committee and each individual. And I know we've got Keith and Richard on today, and I'd like to sort of thank both of them for their input in what we've done, because we're only 18 months old in Lincolnshire, and I think we've achieved quite a lot in that time. In fact, I know we are, because I'm going to show off now and say that, you know, we were the winners of the Committee of the Year, so we must have done something good in that. But today is all about the Inspirational Hub, and just looking at everybody's little icon now, I see there's Mike there with a red arrows logo. I'm currently in Lincoln, and the red arrows are flying over. So if you hear a noise, that's what they're doing. They're out practicing. But the Inspirational Hub, and I'm really trying to sell it on behalf of Crimestoppers today, is all about putting ideas onto it, because it's sharing that really good practice that we've all done. And sometimes I think we're a little bit nervous to do it, but there is an application procedure. Get like Greg has said, get your submissions in, even if they're in the raw format. And I'm going to look at Helen now, because I think even if you put it in the raw format, Helen can do a bit of magic and tickle it up a bit and make it into something that we can all work with. So whatever ideas you've got, whatever you've done, you know, for goodness sake, just share them with us all, because that's where we get our inspiration from. And I'll talk about a couple of hours in particular, because they are important, and more so being a new committee with no money, we had to very quickly look at how we could get some funding in. And we looked at different mechanisms, and like we all do these days, went on the internet and found that there was an organisation called iGuess, and they were looking for applications from charities from all sorts of walks of life to apply for money. We did that, and we put in an application really to spread the word about Crimestoppers in Lincolnshire, and we needed some money to get leaflets and things like that, and promotional stuff. So we were fortunate, we got £2,000 from them. If you have a look at the application, the submission, it is there for you to see under fundraising. So I won't read it out, it's there to have a look at. But we ended up producing with the brand centre a modified version of the Safer Streets, which we were able to use that promotional literature in all sorts of things. And I think the thing that I'm trying to get across here is we started off with good intentions doing one thing, but it led into other things as well. So this particular leaflet was aimed at distributing in the sort of Lincolnshire community. And Keith Crawley, who's our coordinator for Lincoln, was very, very active working with Lincoln Big, and in particular the pubs and the clubs, and got really involved in working with them. And towards the latter part of last year, we got involved with the Gay Pride, the Pride event, and that leaflet was on our stall that particular day. And I have to say, out of all of the events that we've done in the 18 months, that particular event, we distributed, I'll use those words, we distributed more leaflets than we've ever distributed before. And that really came from what we'd done from the work with just applying for the funding. So again, it's one thing leads to another. And from that, we worked with Lincolnshire Co-op, and this is another one of the submissions that you'll see under partnership and alliances. And we work with Lincolnshire Co-op. We've got a really good, strong relationship with them now, which has been built up. And they asked us what could we do, how could they help, what did we want, and they were asking us what did we want to do. And again, it was looking at how we could get the word across, because it is about getting the word across about Crimestoppers in the community. And as I say, we were only at that point something like 9 months old, so every little bit of help we could get was going to be acknowledged and appreciated. And the Lincolnshire Co-op said, well, you know, we've also got a pharmacy department. We distribute around about 5,000 prescriptions in a period of time. Perhaps you'd like to think about putting a leaflet in our pharmacy bags. So we worked with them, and again, with the funding that we got from iGuess, we were able to modify slightly on the brand centre, this particular leaflet. We, as you can see on the back, if I can get it up there, we got the Lincolnshire Co-op's logo on there as well with approval. And those leaflets went out through the Co-op, through their pharmacy department to you know, all their clients who they were delivering prescriptions to. The good news about it was that we got no sort of physical involvement in it. All we had to do was produce the documents, and they did all the hard work. which was marvelous, really, from a time point of view. The really strong point for me, because I am a sort of figures man, is that we were able to monitor what had happened. So in the 8 weeks that we ran the campaign, we were able to work with our regional manager, Lydia, and Lydia is, like John said, with his regional manager, Lydia is absolutely fantastic in supporting us and helping us and giving us direction. So with that and with Lydia's help as well, we were able to look at how we had an impact, or how the campaign had an impact over Lincolnshire. And over the 8-week period, we had a 6.2% increment in the amount of calls that were coming into Crimestoppers from Lincolnshire people. And we know that that was a direct result of this campaign, because that was the only thing that we were doing at that time. So I'm just sort of here to sort of say, like, whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking about, you know, share that information with us all, please, because it is so valuable. And it's things that we can potentially all work and share ideas. And I've actually been on the hub myself and picked one of the submissions that was put in by the West Country, and it's a partnership one, and it's reaching out to the hard to reach communities, and you'll find that on the hub. And I've actually got it and printed it off and used that, and we've started to work on something. And this was only yesterday as a prompt by going on the inspirational hub. We're talking to West Lindsey District Council because they've got areas in their district, notably Gainsborough, and they have a real problem with people being frightened to ring the police. So we're going to work with them on a campaign to work in a specific area, and that will lead us into potentially bringing in a Crimestoppers zone in a particular area, all of which, again, other areas have done. So why reinvent the wheel when there's something there already that we can work on? So just an idea that, you know, there's lots there. Helen's got it up on the screen here, look, and you can see all the different areas. If you haven't been on the inspirational hub, you know, do yourself a favor. even if you're not PC literate, get on there and have a look, because there are so many ideas. And within your committee, if you're thinking of doing something, have a look, because there might be something that's already been done, and you can use that as a sort of prompt to move whatever you want to do forward. And I'm sure, Greg, that's the intention, isn't it? To try to use it as a sort of platform to help everybody. So I think that's it from me, apart from saying thank you very much. I hope I'm bored you to death, but also thank you to the whole Lincolnshire committee and to Lydia as well, for getting us to where we are today, because without that support and that help, we wouldn't have made it. And we've got a very active team, and we're doing some good things for Crimestoppers, I'm sure. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Well done, Mike.
Yeah, that was
Well done, Mike.
absolutely
John.
fantastic.
Very good. Spot on, mate.
I learned it from the best, John. just incidentally, I've never met John, only either online or LinkedIn. But again, this is the sort of beauty of Crimestoppers and getting to know everybody. I feel as if he's a personal friend, and he's sat in the room, and we've met up many times before. I promise you we haven't.
There'll be a right going on when we finally do meet.
Yeah, we only do online dating, don't we, John?
Well, I think the last time we spoke, the three of us online, we only needed one more to make Last of the Summer Wine Quartet. So, yeah, that was fantastic. Mike, thoroughly enjoyed listening to that, and it complemented and built on nicely what John had been speaking about regarding the event up there, and illustrating as well the variety of different ideas and initiatives that are available for everyone to read on the hub. I mean, we've already spoken about 3 or 4 so far today. You mentioned the West Country as well. Tony's on today. Merseyside sent a terrific, made a terrific contribution too, with some suggestions that are in different parts and the different categories on the hub there, and also Essex. If Peter's, I think Peter's on today, and they made a couple of fantastic contributions as well. But I know there's loads out there that all of you can think about and send in. I know Phil Shea is on the call, so I'm going to name check the Isle of Man that we haven't yet heard from, who I was so impressed by an initiative they last year where they had local children from the local schools doing some artwork to put up, featuring Crimestoppers obviously, but to put up in local police custody suites. And what a terrific idea that was. So Phil, get that one over from the Isle of Man. And
Yeah.
I won't name check anymore, but I know a few of you on the screen this morning with us that we could hear from you with different things I know you've done that are quality pieces. And as John said, echoing his words earlier, you know, don't be modest, don't be shy. You know, it's up to you all to make this volunteer inspiration hub, you know, a go-to place. And you can get your submissions in, even if it's just hints and tips that you could suggest, then it would be building on something. And I'll come back to that before I finish later. But thank you, Mike. Well, it's funny you should mention, I'll answer that one, in fact, Emma, because I've mentioned that frequently, and is included in the National Volunteering Plan as something for the future. My colleagues have heard me speak about it, and it's something that's in the pipeline for us with the Central Volunteering Team. And it's part of a composite picture. I guess it's the umbrella term might be interregional communication and collaboration, hopefully, where relationships that have built up quite quickly between Mike and John are replicated across the country. So nobody's afraid to pick up the phone and let somebody else know, you know, what's going on. But with regard to building up a database, that is certainly my dream to create further down the line. It would be a big exercise. But to find out, and we'd be doing it, I think, certainly in the next 12 to 18 months, but a lot in between times, but looking to capture from volunteers across the country who are willing to provide that information, ideas and their feelings about things they'd like to be involved with, or skills that they have that they'd like to make available to different people who'd like to participate in consultations. In the last couple of years, I've pulled in different volunteers from different parts of the country to contribute on an ad hoc basis, and they've always enjoyed that, and I've always been hugely grateful. But to answer your question, being Welsh, it takes so long to answer that very simple question, but essentially it's in the pipeline. And I hope to begin to build that kind of database, and that will be something that's freely available then in due course for committees to make use of. That's for sure.
Well,
So
being a previous IT project manager for the Ministry of Defence, if you want any help with that one, I'll put my name forward.
Oh, well, that's brilliant. That really. morning. So thank you for that.
As they say on one of the TV programs, you're hired.
Yeah, can I just say one thing? You know, never feel shy to pick up the phone and speak to us. You know, if there's anything that, I know John will say the same, if there's anything we can do, just have a word with us, because, you know, we're all networkers, aren't we? And we know other people. So whilst the Inspirational Hub gets sort of growing even better and stronger, you know, pick up the phone and speak. We're more than happy to help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you know, we're part of a family or a community, and I don't feel embarrassed saying that. And you all enjoy, clearly, because so many of you have been with us quite some time now. The essence of being a team player with your local committees, well, the more that can be expanded, and in terms of the network that you can build across the country, is hopefully a part of you enjoying your time with Crimestoppers, as well as being, you know, making a great contribution to us as a charity. Roy, did you want a question for Mike or generally? You're on mute, Roy, that old chestnut.
There we are. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. From what we were saying before, we've got a volunteer fair happening in Darlington on the 23rd of February. And I've asked John if he'd like to come along to us, and he's agreed to come along and help us. So I will get the experience of John doing the show and showing what we can do. But also I would ask, is there any sort of volunteering type of material that we can hand out on this? And if you could, I think Fleur said she was trying with Helen to get some, but I've heard nothing yet. But it's only a fortnight's time, that's all.
No, we've got some for you. We've got an issue with posting at the moment, and so we need to go to the post office, but I've got a parcel for you that will be coming out in the next few days.
Many thanks, that's fine. And then we'll be able to set that up at, because as you know, I'm a double hatter, and we've got the two stands together. So we'll be working Neighbourhood Watch and Crimestoppers on the same area in the two tables together. So hopefully that will be a good success for us all.
Yeah, I'm sure it will, Roy, and as in other parts of the country, that double hatting individual as a chair is working really effectively, and you know, the two organisations are so complementary to one another. So good luck with that, and let us know how you get on. Thank you.
The other thing I would say as well, to Mike was saying as well, as regards fundraising, we did get funding on Neighbourhood Watch from the local PCC, Police Crime Commissioner, and
Right.
she is very, very keen on that. I haven't approached her yet for Crimestoppers, as you know, we're pretty new here, but the next step is to try and approach you for some money for Crimestoppers as well. But the thing that we do find is you have to put a project forward, not just ask for money. Put a project forward, what you want, get an estimate and say that's what it is, and then we will find we get funding then.
Yeah, particularly if the PCC can think that they're keeping Neighbourhood Watch and Crimestoppers happy for a while.
That's right, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you for that, Roy. That's wonderful. I'm now going to turn to Helen, who's our volunteer coordinator, and most of you know Helen, of course. And Helen's just going to show you how easy it is to get to the Inspiration Hub, as well as how easy it is to get to the brand centre. And the brand centre now is increasingly easier to access, but I think you'd find there's some terrific assets on there in terms of templates that you can adapt, and also artwork and that sort of thing. So I'll pass it across to Helen now, and the floor is hers for a while.
Hi everyone, hope you can hear me okay. So basically, yeah, you've been seeing the screen in the background for where the Volunteer Inspiration Hub sits. So for those that do have access, If you don't, please send me an email. If you want access to the bubble, I can sort that out for you. All new volunteers will have a profile. Some may use it, some may not, but for those that really want it, if you've got members on your committee that need it, please let me know. So once you get access, you'll get a home page, which is separate to this, but there's a volunteer in here section on the bubble. Once you click into there, you will see a section on Volunteer Inspiration Hub, which is the screen you can see here. And as Mike and John mentioned, there's loads of sections here on the left-hand side that have got some really good examples of the stuff we've received in the last few months. So yeah, get on there, have a look. It's quite new, so it's still, people haven't been on there, so it's good to promote it to your committees as well once you're out and about. Yeah, so the submit and aspire button is here on the left. Well, you're looking at the screen being on the left. And if you click on there, it will say inspire fellow volunteer today. And as you scroll down, there's a few words, but there's a button here that highlights, and it's a submission form. So literally, I've just clicked on there and it will take you to a link. There's a blank submission form. Whether you're good on the, your laptop, computer, you can print it off, or if you do get any problems, can't get one, or it's not printing for you, let me know. You can print it off, fill it out by hand, or if you're a whiz, do it on your computer. And you can see here how straightforward it is. There's a few boxes to fill in, and then that can be sent across. Okay?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you.
So if you get any queries, yeah, please let me know. Email me or the bubble or anyone on your committee if you can't get hold of me. And as Greg said, I'm not obviously in control of the brand centre, but I can give you access to the brand centre once you get a bubble profile. For those that are doing your social media, your media marketing, they're the ones that are probably going to use it more on your committees. So if you know someone that hasn't got access to one, the bubble, and two, the brand centre, let me know and I can add you in. And the brand centre, for those that you don't know where it is, on your top menu of the bubble, you'll see a more button. And that's where you'll click to see our charity there on the left, and then brand centre just next to it. You click on the brand centre, and we always ask any new volunteer to look at the videos first, just to give you an insight into how it looks, what we expect. And that is under training videos, which is on the left-hand side here. When you click on there, a lovely Imogen has produced a new video that I think is going to be shared with RMs first, but for those that have access, you can click on here quite easily. And it's only about a 2.5 minute video, and it just gives you the layout of where things are, all the new stuff that she's inputted on there in the last few weeks, part of the comms team. I can play the video now, just to give you, I just hope you can hear it, because it's quite quiet, but just give us a thumbs
Hello
up.
and welcome to your tour of the brand centre. On the left-hand side, when you log in, you'll see 4 tabs: campaigns, brand, create artwork, and media. And on the right-hand side, you'll see saved materials. If we go into campaigns, you'll find all our artwork from past and present campaigns separated by crime type in folders. These are laid out in alphabetical order, and we've separated the Crimestoppers and Fearless campaigns for ease. 2 to note here are the Crimestoppers generic and Fearless generic. If we go into Crimestoppers generic, you can find all generic artwork filtered by year, by type, or keyword search to find what you're looking for. If we go into brand, then you'll find specifically the Crimestoppers and Fearless brands. Inside Fearless, you can find Fearless content, specifically logos. You can see lots of different coloured logos and download these in a variety of formats. You can search by keyword too. Inside Create Artwork, this was previously named Templates, and you can find templates to create your own artwork here. You can filter by type. For example, if you want to make a newsletter, you could easily find that in that search area. You can also filter by category or keyword search. Inside media, you can find all our licensed images to use when creating your own artwork. Filter by subject. For example, if you want some wildlife images, you can find them here. Over on the right-hand side, you have saved materials, and that is all the artwork that you have created. I hope you have found this tool useful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
So that's basically just a quick overview that Imogen has put together for everybody. She said if anyone needs to email her with any issues on the brand, that she's more than happy to answer any queries. She's not here today, but I'm just speaking on her behalf. So yeah, if you get any issues on the brand, we have a brand email address, and also Imogen's on the comms team. But if you can't get hold of either of them, then please, let me or Greg know as well. So yeah, I hope that's useful, just to give you a bit of a quick insight into the brand centre. And I shall pass you back to Greg.
Okay, take up the screen. Thank you, Helen. That's marvelous. Even I could follow that one. Yes, are there any questions that anyone has of Helen, or indeed any questions that have perhaps dawned on you in the last 3/4 of an hour?
Greg, it's Phil.
Hello, Phil. Thank you.
Just going back to the Inspiration Hub, I suppose we should sort of say that we've got a small group that have sort of been involved in terms of the development of this, but the plan is to sort of oversee those. So as the submissions come in, we as a group will review those and look to draw out some of the the good examples of that, and we'll create an opportunity to share those as well, so that we get that sort of circulation going on. Again, the concept of sort of share with pride and the like. Will be a good opportunity, as say that if those come in, we will be looking at them and looking at synergies or what have you, and then again opportunities to share those out. So it's going to be very iterative and dynamic, and we've already got some in there from committees that have agreed to help us, and then we can build from there. So don't feel afraid, and so we're keen to highlight good initiatives and get those shared, and we can use this sort of forum again to do that.
Thanks, Phil. Yeah, appreciate you flagging that up. I mean, we've got a very small review group, and certainly it's not an eye of the needle job to get a submission approved. It's merely a matter of ensuring that what we put up on the bubble is going to be brand compliant, and anything else that might be of relevance. But I think I ought to point out as well, for those of you that haven't taken a look on the Inspiration Hub at this point, that it's not just the submission forms that people have been encouraged to submit. Most of the submissions that have come in have had a load of attachments with them, whether it's been in terms of artwork or promotional copy and text and so forth. A huge amount of backup and supporting information that gives some flavor and depth to the submission themselves. So please take a look if you haven't already done so. It really is worth having 5 or 10 minutes just to skip through the hub. I just wondered if there's any further questions from anyone before I Right, Mike, did you have something you'd like to speak about or ask?
Yeah, please, Greg. And it's just really, again, while we're all together, to give a little bit of an oversight, because the brand centre, you might deem it a little bit complicated. It isn't. You know, be assured that once you get onto it, it's very easy to operate. If I can do it, anybody can do it. But one thing that we've worked on, and again, it came up in Helen's presentation. I'll see if I can put it up to the camera. Was this little baby? It's like a little calling card. We with the brand centre agreed to modify it because we wanted to make it more personalised to Lincolnshire, and dare I say it, this is our #1 seller. Wherever we go, people want one of these to put in the wallets. So if you haven't got such a thing, just do the same, put your own committee on it, get them printed, and I'm sure you'll be exactly the same as us. It'll be a #1 seller, and it just gets the word out there. So easy.
Well, I think those are important, Mike. I know that it's little sort of pocket cards are produced by a couple of other committees, and I think they're really, really important, particularly as we look to increasingly reach into those communities that need us the most. And any kind of pocket-sized reminders to people that people could pick up casually and put in their pocket, maybe discard once they've made a note of it in somewhere even more secretive. But one is there as a reminder, you know, of Crimestoppers. But secondly, you know, people can be, I know having worked in those areas, that people can be shy about who sees them paying attention to the likes of Crimestoppers. But if there's something like that they can discreetly slip into their purse or their wallet and make a note of, because you know the number itself is quite easy, and I think the imagery and brand we have now is quite eye-catching. Then it's something that, whether it's for themselves or, I mean, I know I'm teaching my grandmother to suck eggs with most of you, if not all of you, but it's something that could be helpful, not just to themselves, but to friends that they know are suffering through criminal behavior and the like. So, but, you know, you've shown us now just one example, Mike, but you and John and Phil know that there's a stack of other good little suggestions on there throughout the hub, and you know, I just can't recommend more highly that that you take a look on there. And something I meant to pick up on during your talk, Mike, was and John's too. You both mentioned it. Was the fact that if you have a look on there, I'm sure there would be at least one idea or one initiative that either you can adopt fully or simply adapt according to the scale of your own committee's resources, and do something similar with an equally impactful project in your own neck of the woods. I mean, that's what it's all about. And if not, then but both preferably. I'd like to think that you could spread the word after today, because any little suggestions that come in from the committees across the UK will be helpful to somebody. If you can't find ideas on there for yourself that you can take forward, then certainly get those little suggestions in. We are going to be featuring a lot more of the Inspiration Hub going forward, and listening to you two speak this morning, I think it's something that I've discussed with comms just before Christmas, and that perhaps is that in future issues of the Burst that we'll be picking out one by one an illustration from the Volunteer Inspiration Hub to remind everyone that it's there. And I hope, you know, I don't believe that people that I know on the screens today, I don't think you'll need any reminding, but we're going to do so anyway, because it really is by volunteers for volunteers. You know, it's yours. You know, it's not just about us. It's not just about you. Yes, it's up to you to make it a great asset for yourselves for today across the country, but it's also for the volunteers yet to join Crimestoppers, and what a legacy you can leave for them with building on what we've already got on the Volunteer Inspiration Hub. Well, we're approaching 12 o'clock.
Greg, it's Phil. Just before we finish, I wonder if it might be worth just 2 minutes for you. We've got a good group here, just to sort of highlight the changes that are taking place in your team. It's likely to be very positive for colleagues going forward, I think.
Yes. If you yeah, I could use the 2 minutes up on a couple of minutes up on that for sure. There have been changes in the central volunteering team. All of you recently, we've gone through a restructuring, which has been precipitated. You'll be aware, for those, unless you've joined since that time, that we lost a really dear colleague of ours in the late summer, Caroline Randall, who would have probably been for most of you the first person you spoke to when you joined Crimestoppers, and or at a later date, been absolutely charmed by Caroline, and felt hugely supported by Caroline, certainly with the testimonies that came in and the condolences. It really was impressive with after her passing. So now we've taken things forward. We've had a restructure. Caroline has kindly kept the wheels on the wagon since Caroline passed away, and will now take forward that hugely important aspect of the central volunteering team's work. And it is well, what we've created now is a new post. So there's a new emphasis, an exciting to take us in an exciting new direction. We've got another volunteer coordinator whose role will be as an outreach worker. That's how we've badged it up, and we've currently gone out to advertise. And in a nutshell, what this role is all about is someone from the central volunteering team who can be a real visible presence out in the regions where needed, and hopefully building relationships with regional managers and volunteers alike, and someone who can be full of ideas and give help where it's required in terms of ideas and a sense of purpose and direction and the plans that some committees might be struggling to put together, and hopefully enhance some of the more mature committees and what they are doing. And I think that it will give us or help give regions an impetus and help to just push us even more forward in terms of what we're doing, particularly regarding community engagement with the communities that need us the most. And that is very much at the core of this person's role. And whether it's a he or she, we're planning to have, we've had a number of applications in, quite a number in fact. The closing date is next a week Sunday, I think. But we've got interviews scheduled for the 1st of March. So it's quite imminent. and it's quite exciting. I'm certainly can't wait to get somebody in place, and I think just like that, the gap that's been filled by. I think that to have a greater connection between the central volunteering team and the regions can only benefit all of us. So I hope you'll be able to share my optimism that in the coming months, and that this is a step in a hugely positive direction. And I'm hoping that I'll be getting a lot of feedback in that time to say that it's just what you've been looking for. Yes, very much looking forward to that. So watch this space. Are there any questions perhaps you'd like to ask before we close off on that? Phil, you okay with that?
Yeah, very helpful. Yeah, obviously, as we get somebody in post, obviously we'll announce that and introduce them to everybody. But I think it is positive.
Yeah, we'll be no doubt embarking, myself and possibly Karen as well, possibly yourself and others, but more particularly myself in terms of introducing the he or she to the regions, and yeah, it's going to be a very positive step, I think, in all senses. Thank you, John. Thank you, Mike, for your presentations today. Thank you, everyone, for hanging on. We've overshot a little bit, but it's. I hope you feel that it was a thoroughly enjoyable morning, and I certainly think it was a worthwhile one, and I hope you share that view. John and Mike, you certainly brought your customary humour and eloquence to those presentations, and I'm hugely grateful to you. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming along today. Look after yourselves, and hope to see you again soon.
Bye.